All right, so in this video, I'll review how we can create a simple um, pivot table in Microsoft Excel. This is our data. This is actually a little more updated than the last data set I sent in the email um, Wednesday night. I'm going to send you another email with it on there, but I had extra 2 rows here on the data set that I sent at like 9:30 on March 7th, and so this is more updated. But anyway, if I wanted to create a pivot table, what I'm going to do just for ease of the process is I'm going to click the entire or highlight the entire data set. I'm going to insert pivot table. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create or put this pivot table in a new worksheet. So right now it's new worksheet. I'm going to click OK. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of my items. I can scroll through this list and it'll have my top row. I'm going to put the item. So let's say I want to look at item AB_1, which is I know where to get help if I'm struggling in the class. I'm going to put that item, I'm going to drag it to the values box. And I'm also going to drag it to the rows box. Okay. And right now my values is a count of each of the values of the variable um, for each basically number or response, right? And so as you can see, I have my pivot table with the responses here and the number or the frequency of students who responded with each of these responses here. All right. What I'm going to do also, and this will be helpful as we start to analyze the data, is notice that these are given as counts. We can also get them as percents, right? And so I'm going to show you what we should do here. And this is what I want you to do for all of the items. Give this table, this pivot table here, as well as the pivot table that I'm about to create. So I'm going to go back and almost like start over. I have my entire table highlighted. I'm going to go to Insert, Pivot Table. And now, since I'm going to do another pivot table, I'm going to go to existing. I'm going to click existing worksheet. And I'm going to go to that first worksheet that I just created the pivot table for. And I'm going to click on another cell so that I can put the next pivot table right under it, right? And so I clicked on this one. I'm going to press OK. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through that same process, but what I'm going to do is I want to get percentages, right? So I'm still looking at the item AB_1. I'm going to go to the values box. I'm going to go to the rows. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to change this to be a proportion instead of our percentage instead of a count. And so I'm going to click this I that's right here. And this box is going to be showing up here. I'm going to click this as count, keep this as count, which is already highlighted. But I'm going to go to show data as, and under normal, I'm going to click percent of total. And I'm going to click OK. And basically what you'll see is that now my pivot table has the percentage of students who responded with a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6. That way, once we have this information, I know the total number of students who responded to this item, and I also know the percentage of each category, right? We probably are not going to report this information because percentages are more important. And in fact, we're probably going to do the percentage of agreement, which is and I can do this myself, but we can add these 3 things together, and then that's what we'll probably report in our actual results. But for now, if you can create these 2 things for each item, you can just go back to the worksheet, go to Insert, Pivot Table, go to existing worksheet, and I'm going to go back to that worksheet that I just did. I'm going to click enter into a new cell so I can put my pivot table under there. And now I'm going to go to my next item. I'm going to drag this here and in the rows box. And I want my count. So I've got that pivot table. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to insert pivot table, go to my existing worksheet, go under this pivot table, and press OK. And now I'm going to do the percentages. So I'm going to click the I there, go to show data as, Instead of doing normal, do percent of total. Press OK. And I'll exit out of this. And as you can see, I get the percentage of the respondents at each of the actual values. All right. I think that's about it. I didn't record. Did I?